Happy Thursday, everybody. How are we doing out there?
Good morning.
All right, we got one awake. Let's go. Who else?
Good morning.
Rainbows and sunshines.
All right.
Morning. Good morning.
All right, we got a lively crew. Let's go. Who's got something to share? More than just some vocal energy. Who's got a win? Come on, don't be bashful. Somebody's got something. Personal. How about a personal win for you?
It's horse show day.
It's horse show day? Oh. What exactly does that entail, Lauren?
It's the first day of the horse show at the Big E for my kids. It's exciting because we do a lot of really large shows, but the crowds that we get at the Big E, it's just something really special.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How about one more share of some positivity before we get started today?
We're one step closer to getting speed skating into the Olympics because our USA team has gotten more medals than they've ever gotten this year. So I'm really excited about that.
That's cool. Like, so do you know what the process is, KB? Is there like an application? I'm curious how some of these sports in the previous Olympics got in there.
Yeah, you have to fill out applications, and I think the biggest issue is speed skating's big in so many countries, but none of the boards are very organized. So they've really been working on their organization, and the U.S. has never really had an opportunity to place well because we never had a banked track in the United States until last year. So it's really cool. I'm super excited. We got a couple golds and a lot of silvers, and they really usually Italy just kills it and Colombia just kills it, and this year America put their name on the board. So really exciting. We had 36 skaters from all different states.
Cool. All right, well, let's transition to some real estate. Who's got something going on that'd be a good share for the group? Nothing too small. Even something little, we can expand upon it. Something weird going on a deal. Something that you learned. Are you guys this quiet with your sphere? You guys do reach out and talk to the people that are in your database, right? All right, I'll go. We had something come across my desk with regards to a low appraisal. So I kind of wanted to put out on the table today, when you're in a deal, what are the options for both buy side, sell side to keep a deal together when that appraisal comes in low? So who wants to just throw out some options that either you know are options or that you've used? Appraisal came in low. What can we do? So,
I meet in the middle of the difference.
Sure. We can try and basically just negotiate a lower sale price, and then maybe the buyer is coming up with some extra cash, right? So property is, contract price is 300, it appraises at 290. Seller agrees, I'll sell it for 295, and buyer says I'll come up with the extra $5,000 in cash. Good, that's one option. What else? Molly.
You can challenge the appraisal if you have supporting comps. If they're open to you sending that over to them or having the lender send that over to them. I've had that, not bring it all the way back up, but at least add, $5,000 to help a little bit.
That was on actually one of your deals?
Yes.
Yeah. Which side were you on?
I was on the buy side. So it was a combination of the lender having a good relationship with the appraisal company, and kind of working with them before we even knew about the appraisal. And then the lender also was able to kind of do some finagling on their end because the seller was not willing to budge at all. So the buyer needed a seller credit for closing costs. So, they were able to rework the loan to kind of make it work, and we got the deal done.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things happening on that one, right, that I had written down, but adjusting the financing options. A lot of times the lender can make up some of this money. Again, using a preferred lender, I'm not sure if that's who this was in this one, but they have sometimes some relationships with these appraisal companies, and they might be able to get the challenge in. So as long as you have some valid comps that you feel like you can challenge that number, we should be supplying that and making the challenge. Does that mean that the appraiser is going to change the value? Absolutely not. They might say, I'm not changing it at all. Maybe I'm changing a little bit, or you know what? I did miss that one. You're right. This is a pretty rare case. These appraisers don't like to be wrong, but I'll readjust my value. So great, Molly. Patricia. You're still, there you go.
Yeah. So I have a situation going on right now. The appraisal came 50,000 less than. So it came at 350 and the offer was 400.
Yep. So we're going to have to maybe use a lot of these different methods, right?
Yeah. So
Right
now the listing agents send us some other comps. So they're reviewing the appraisal.
Yeah. So, it could just be full renegotiation of price, right? Hey, look, we came to the table with this offer, but the comps aren't supported. We've challenged it. The appraiser, we can't find any comps to support it. We thought this was going to be an issue, and now the seller's got a decision to make, right? And this is key to have this conversation with the listing agent. Hey, I know your seller's not happy, but the reality is we can't find any comps. You're gonna, unless you find a cash buyer, right? And even a cash buyer still may do an appraisal. You're gonna have this problem with the next buyer, right? So I know that you want 500,000, but it's appraising at 450. And so sometimes the buyer isn't making up any of the difference, and it's just the seller's got to take the hit, right? So renegotiate the price fully on the sell side. We can challenge the appraisal. We can ask the buyer to bring more cash to the table. We can split the difference. It doesn't have to be exactly split, but it could be a combination of. We can adjust the financing options. Okay. One thing that we haven't thrown out there is request a second appraisal. Right? So maybe this first appraiser is not willing to budge. We can request a second appraiser. Is every mortgage company going to be okay with that? No. Are some going to be okay with that? Yeah. Well, let's just get a second opinion on this one. Now, you got to remember, it's not just as easy as we'll just get a second opinion or let's challenge the appraisal, because from a buyer's perspective, if you're on the buy side, the buyer's thinking what?
They're happy.
Well, they're happy if they get the lower number, but they're not happy if it's if we paid 500 and the appraisal comes in at 450, and now we're trying to adjust the appraisal to get it up to 475. The buyer starts to go in the back of their mind, what?
I overpaid.
I overpaid for this, right? Am I overpaying? So now we got a buyer that's nervous. So it's not just as easy as, hey, let's just negotiate this thing down. Oh my God, did I make a big mistake here? Did I overpay? Right? Lauren.
Just wanted to mention when it comes to FHA appraisals, okay, because when you have an FHA appraisal on a property, that appraisal will stick to that property, even for future buyers if they come in with an FHA loan. So, maybe if you have something there, right? If you have a property and they're really kind of giving you pushback because it's a little bit low, we can use that. If you do happen to have another FHA buyer, if that's all that's coming in on your property, then this is the value that you're going to have to work with, whether it's us or somebody else. We're already at this point in the game. Appraisal is usually several weeks into the process already.
Yep, this is a great point. I think it's 6 months. Right? So if you're not aware of this rule, if you have a buyer, your buyer's FHA, house appraises for 500, and the deal is at 550. Buyer can't buy the house. If a new buyer comes in and they're FHA, that appraisal sticks. That initial number, there's no second appraisal. They're not paying for one. There is already an FHA appraisal tied to that property. And I believe it's for 6 months. So there's a lot there, right? And I think this is a great topic because I think we're going to start to see this more and more as the market slows down a little bit. You know, sellers are used to, you know, getting over ask and getting over ask and getting crazy numbers and multiple offers. As it slows down a little bit, start to see, wait a second, you know, the buyer still had the buyer mentality of I've got to overpay, but if the appraisers aren't cooperating, or hey, the comps are just showing that there's just nothing there, right? I think some appraisers, you know, really do want to just make deals happen, but if the comps aren't there, they're not there. Who else just wants to comment around appraisal or things that happen in appraisal or other little weird quirks? Anybody done anything else to satisfy low appraisal or to keep a deal together? Meg.
One thing I wanted to just point out happened one of the first deals of my career. I was on the sell side and the buyer was utilizing a VA loan, and I got a notification that there was a Tidewater issue on the appraisal. And I was like, what on earth is Tidewater? So come to find out with VA, that's their way of notifying you that there's an appraisal issue where the purchase, the appraised value doesn't support the purchase price. So they allow you then to do what we've been talking about, gather other additional comps to then formally submit them to the appraiser for review. So that was unique on like my second deal in real estate.
Yeah, gotta love it. Great share. Great share. So that's, I've actually not heard that term, Meg. So that's the term that they use.
I don't know if they're still currently using the term, but back in
Yeah.
2013, that was the term they used.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they still use that term.
They still use it, huh?
I think it's just for VA though.
Okay. Anybody else? Something that's weird about appraisal or coming to mind on appraisal, or something that happened to you on an appraisal? And while we're on appraisal, we do have to remember that these appraisers for FHA and VA can point out different little things that could be wrong with the property, and they might want it fixed. Keep these things in mind, especially you'll see this on FHA quite a bit, where they're going to charge a reinspection or I guess it's a reinspection fee. I think it's typically about $150 because, you know, there was some chipping, peeling paint, there was missing handrail. So it is a little bit of a safety inspection as well with some of these government loans. I don't know if anybody has a share around that part. So you kind of got to walk a fine line here. You know, if you think something's going to come up and you're trying to avoid the reinspection fee, you got a decision to make. Do we add those handrails because we think he's going to call it out, or do we, you know, try and see if the appraiser is not going to call out those handrails, and if he does, we know we're just going to be subject to the $150. A good relationship, being at the appraisal, you might be able to talk to that appraiser. Hey, instead of coming back out here, you know, are you cool if we get this fixed and I send you a photo? Sometimes they'll accept a photo of the repair if it's very obvious that it was to that property, especially if you have an invoice for the work that was done. Sue.
My last deal, the appraiser did call out a hand railing, and I requested that we do pictures, so he didn't have to come out. So, you know, that way our dates, I didn't have to do, you know, extensions. And this particular appraiser said, no, I have to physically go back and look at it. So we had to, you know, extend our dates.
Yep, they're all not going to be okay with it, but some of them will let it fly. Probably depends on how busy they are, right? Because it's an easy $150 for them if that's the right number. I don't know if somebody knows what the fee is, but you know, all they literally got to do is go out, take a picture and go back, $150 in their pocket. So it's easy money. Anybody else have a share around the reinspection, the photo, anything around that everybody should be aware of? Okay. All right, let's change topics. Who else has got something? Lesson learned on something. Jeff and Linda.
Hi, I have a question. Today we are having a staging company come and do a full staging of a very beautiful vacant property. And Jeff and I want to create a video, not to promote this home, but to show the before and after benefit of staging for homes that are vacant. And we just want to make sure that, is it okay for us to also have a shot of the exterior of this home, or would that slide into an area where it could be considered marketing, even though we're clearly promoting staging?
So I'm a little confused with the question. So your idea is, let's get the photographer and videographer out there prior to the staging. Let's photograph the property. Let's bring them back. No. Okay.
No. Jeff and I are going to this property. The staging's going to be from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock because it's a full, right? And we want to create a small video that we can post on our website and that we can use in certain instances where we have sellers who have a vacant property. And we want to show them the before and the after of a vacant home, and how, if you list your home vacant, how the consumer is going to look at this home as opposed to afterwards when it's fully furnished and staged, the difference in how it's going to hit the consumer. So it's promoting the importance of staging a vacant home so you can get top dollar for your home when we list it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't see any issue with you guys showing the exterior. You're just talking about going on social. Hey, it's Jeff and Linda here. Just wanted to show you guys what we're doing with this new listing that we're bringing to market. Currently, this is what it looks like. You know, we talked with the seller. They were in agreement that if we stage this property, it's going to look a heck of a lot better. We're going to be shooting some video today. We'll make sure once the staging is done to kind of show you again what it looks like afterwards, so you guys can see the difference. Like that type of thing, and putting it out on social and then saving it to your YouTube or as a post. Is that the concept?
Well, that's almost the concept. We actually weren't even going to say that we're at this home and we're staging this one and we'll show you what it looks like later. We were going to just simply make a video that shows the home before, that shows the home at the end of the day when it's staged. And we're going to basically, we're eliminating the home itself. It's about selling the concept of staging. Right?
Yeah.
So my question was, is it okay to have an exterior shot of the house when we're not marketing that property, or should we not even do that? Don't even go there, for just in case there's any concerns.
I see a couple of hands up. I don't see any concerns with showing the exterior of the property, but let's see what the gallery has to say here. Lauren, you're first, I think.
So to your actual question, I don't think there's an issue with the exterior. Be careful with maybe addresses. I wouldn't state the address of the property if that's what you're choosing to do. Make sure that you have consent from the clients to be showing exterior of their house, because you may accidentally get the number or something like that of the property as well. Then showing right now, if it's going out that this is a vacant house that you're actually just staging, right? So a little bit of concern that we now know that this house is sitting vacant. And then second thought is, I can imagine the cost for an entire large property. I know you said this one was over $1 million property for staging, right? Where we also have the option for virtual staging. It's going to be a lot more affordable, right? Most people start online. They're going to see those photos of the staged property as well and be able to get that visual. Then when they get in the house, even if some of the rooms, if not all, are empty, then you already have that visual in your head of how they saw it staged, so they can kind of replace those items back in there without them physically being there.
Okay, so this particular, we have used virtual staging. In fact, one of our listings that we have now is virtually staged. This is not $1 million property. It's a smaller, it's about 1,500 square feet. And we looked at all of the comps, and every single home in this community is decorated exquisitely. So we wanted them to be on par with our competition. That's why we recommended in this instance that they go with the staging. But to your point, yes, we absolutely are aware of virtual staging. And again, we have used it and have it in one of our $600,000 properties right now. So agreed, it's not for every application. It's not for every home. It's really microwave, like really looking at what we're up against before we just simply start suggesting that people spend money to do this, for sure.
My personal thought, and I think some of the media companies have examples of this, but my personal thought is to get some maybe iPhone pictures of the property now vacant. And then just because the iPhone quality is probably gonna be a little bit less than professional quality. And then you have your photographer come in after it's staged. And now you have a before and after where you would show a seller at your next listing appointment. Hey,
yes,
look at these photos, right? And then look at these photos. This is the same property. Can you see the difference, right?
Perfect.
So,
yeah, we're having it staged today, so we're going to go do the vacant pictures with our phones, and tomorrow we're having our professional photographer come in and do. So that I love that. I think that's a great way to handle it. Love that.
yeah, just I would get with your photographer and see, or maybe look at past works that they've done. What are I would try and get the exact angles, right?
Yes.
Here's the shot. Here's the shot. Here's the shot staged. Here's this room. Here's this room staged.
Yes, I love that. Thank you.
Yep. KB?
No, I'm good. You guys pretty much covered everything. I think I was walking out of the post office. The only thing that I do want to say is my opinion is I don't think you need the exterior of the house. You're not staging the exterior of the house, and you're not going to need it for any type of marketing purposes. And if you don't get the exterior of the house, then I don't necessarily know that you need written consent from the client, because in the Florida listing contract, there's a whole section, I believe, if I'm thinking of the right contract, I don't have it in front of me, that basically says what you're allowed to do with those photos. And I'm pretty sure it's in there that you can use it for marketing forever. So I don't see any issue with it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all so much for your input. I appreciate it very much.
Anybody else just want to share anything regarding staging that you've done, staging that you've seen?
There was a question and comment, Steve, about pricing and who in this particular instance was covering that cost.
Oh, so so the biggest cost with the staging, of course, is the setup, right? Because they have to go and get all the inventory, and they bring a moving truck, and they spend the whole day, putting the stuff in. So for this particular home, and they are staging the entire home and the lanai, it's $2,600. That includes when they come back in 2 months to take everything back out of the home. And then every month it's a furniture rental, and to rent the furniture, it is $900 a month. And so they get to choose. They're not locked into, you have to do this for a certain number of months, obviously. And then if the home sells straight away, they give you a prorated rate of returning back to you, for the monthly rental. So if your home sells on day 2 of the month, they're going to give back, the whatever 28 or 29 days that they didn't use the furniture.
So just to be clear, that is the $2,600 and then additionally $900 a month, or did the $2,600 include the first 2 months?
No, so the $2,600 is for the first month and for the furniture delivery, setup, and then the takedown. right? So the getting the stuff out of there is baked into the 2,600. Then
So if it goes 60 days, it's going to be $3,500.
that is correct. Right.
Yeah.
But we were able to list their home for $25,000 more. Right. So you have to look at the end is what are they going to net for this? Yes, it's an investment up front, but I mean, is it going to decrease their days on market and all of their carrying costs? This couple, they bought a bigger home and moved into it. So they're paying for 2 houses right now. Okay. So I mean, they really have to look at the big picture and is this investment worth it? What are you going to net as a result of doing it? And we honestly looked at the comps and we looked at another home that sat on the market forever because it was vacant, and it was a beautiful home, but it was vacant and you can't visualize it. Those people took a bath on what they ended up selling that home for. I mean, when it's vacant, it looks like people have abandoned it, and and the buyers are going to come in with much lower offers. So we really, really, in this instance, feel that it is in their best interest and that they're going to net a lot more money by having it staged, especially now that the people are starting to come back down for season. Interest rates are lightening up. People are feeling more comfortable. So we looked at all of these factors when we recommended this as a strategic way for them to make more money on purchasing. So you can't just look at the cost. You have to look at the investment and the overall picture of, does this make sense and will it net you more money?
And it sounds like you're having them cover all of the costs.
So what happened was and we were prepared, like, for example, if it ends up going an extra month, I will pay for another $900 to right. So I haven't told them that yet, but I am prepared to do that. Right. Because I'm looking at, when do the snowbirds come down? When are we going to have the biggest number of people down here? Right? Because summer has been super, super slow. So I would be prepared to do that, but I haven't shared that with them. Now, that said, when the lady came through and gave us the estimate, when we got our written numbers, they were higher than what she had originally said. She said it was going to be $2,400 for the setup, but she forgot to take into consideration some furniture out on the lanai. So she put that into it. And she also said it was going to be, I don't remember, like $800 a month. And now it's $900 a month. That's because there was going to be more furniture than she had originally considered. So we got pushback from the seller, and Jeff and I said, great, we totally understand. We got you covered on that. So we're literally writing them checks for the extra to show them that, hey, we're in this with you, 100%. That's how much we think this is going to be beneficial and in your best interest.
Yeah, I definitely like that approach, right? Of just showing a little bit of skin in the game, that you're not just asking them to carry the whole load. So I think it's smart. KB.
Yeah, I just kind of want to bring something up in regards to how long you leave the furniture in the property, because I've heard mixed reviews, and anytime I've only staged a house like I think 3 times, like fully, and I was always told to leave it in through appraisal. So I've always left the furniture in through appraisal, but I know that some agents remove it before inspection or after inspection, depending on what the timeline is. So I'm just curious as to what you guys do.
100%. We are absolutely not going to remove furniture until we have successfully made it through the inspection phase. From my perspective, there are 2 rounds of negotiation, and until we've made it to the other side of the inspection, you are a maybe buyer. We don't have a buyer until we've successfully negotiated inspection issues. Now, this home is pristine. They bought it, and it was built in like 2019. They maintained it. So we would be shocked and stunned if there is an inspection issue, but I'm still not pulling that furniture out until we are sure that that they're moving forward with this purchase, and we don't just have a maybe buyer.
Yeah, and I think the same thing would go for appraisal, right? Because if they get through inspection and then you pull all the furniture out and there's any issue with closing or appraisal, then what do? Are you going to bring the furniture back in? So I think that's why I was always told to leave it in through appraisal. So I'm just curious to see what everyone's opinions are. Yeah.
And the reason that I'm not so concerned about appraisal is because we're priced competitively relative to the other homes in the community. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'll just comment on staging and how much it affects the value. It definitely moves the price. With I'm pretty sure every single flip that my brother does, he's always staging. He believes in it wholeheartedly. You are going to get more money, like 5, 6, 10x sometimes. The cost of the staging is what you're going to go over in what you're going to get in value. So it's definitely not an expense. It's going to help your property not only sell quicker, but for more money. And I think there'd be very few scenarios where the extra staging isn't going to help. And probably maybe properties that are in, pretty bad shape, those aren't going to make sense. But if you've got a property that's in good shape, it needs to be staged. So, and I'm almost positive I can verify that he's leaving it through appraisal. Anybody else have a share?
I think this is just such a cool topic, right? Because for any heavier listing agents, this is definitely, it's an expense, but it's a benefit for you. I know we have a couple different agents. One that pops into my head is Lori, but they keep some staging materials on hand, and it is a benefit. So if you guys are popping around and you see a cool piece or something at a tag sale and you have somewhere to store it, or little tchotchke things like plants or pictures or whatever, this is it's a good way for you if you plan on taking a lot of listings, to be able to provide that without it costing a ton of money. I know Adam, he owns all his furniture, right? So he doesn't have to rent it from a company or things like that, in most scenarios, I believe. So just a cool topic.
Yeah. Even if it's just the tchotchkes that you're delivering, and you've got a room in your basement where you could keep this stuff and reuse. It's a lot of the same stuff that you're just reusing over and over again. So if you plan on being a heavy listing agent, it's something you can say, hey, you know what? And even just show, hey, here's a photo of a listing where we didn't stage the kitchen. Here's one where we did. Can you see the difference? This is some of the value that I bring to the table when you hire me to list your home. No extra cost. Go ahead, Linda.
So yeah, right. So to your point, we have another listing that we just had photographed the other day, and our photographer wanted to charge $85 per room for what they call soft staging. And soft staging is what you were calling tchotchkes, right? And so I started adding this up because we need it in the kitchen, we need it in the bathrooms, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can go to Home Goods and I can get all of these beautiful items that they use for soft staging, and then I can keep them. And then the next time I need to go and soft stage a home, not only am I telling my sellers that we're adding this wonderful benefit to them, that we're going to soft stage, but then I don't have to keep paying for it. I've got the goods. So I looked at one of our past listings with them and snapped the pictures and took them to Home Goods with me. And I bought almost identical, what's considered like the now, decor. And I filled my cart, and for under $200, I got all of these goodies, and I went to the home ahead of the photo shoot, and I did exactly what they did. And you know what? It looked really good. And then with the soft staging, the photographer then takes those items obviously away with them right after they do the photo shoot. But here I'm leaving them in the home, and we'll leave them in the home the entire time that we're under contract, so that when people come and tour the home, all these fresh items are there. But then I get to bring them home with me and use them for the next listing. So it's just, what is it called? Rip off and repeat, or you know what I mean? Like, it's great stuff, but why spend that much when you can have your own little storehouse of these items in your garage, and it's more cost effective. Yes, you make the purchase up front, but you'd have to make the purchase with the pictures anyway.
Yeah, that's a great share, and the cost benefit analysis is one property and you're ahead of it. So, yeah, I actually haven't heard of anybody running the math like that. And I think it's a great way. Like these virtual staging things, they're not super cheap. They charge you a good little bit. The soft staging is even more. So one property and you're ahead. So that's a great share. We are over, guys. Anybody have any last minute questions on staging today? I love it. You never know where these conversations are going to go. This was a great convo. Appreciate everybody's shares today. Hope you have a great Thursday, and we'll get back after it one more time tomorrow morning. All right. Take care.
Thank you for all your input. I appreciate it very much. Have a great
Bye,
day.
guys.